Yes.
I used to watch Star Trek when I was little, and then my wife had on Star Trek. I used to love watching it. But I looked back at season 1, and I was thinking, if Tasha Yar was still alive, what were her expectations would be? Was she ever find love? Was she be able to take command? Or anything you think of?
Wow. Well, thank you. I think Tasha would have married Data and had some droids. No, you were too little to be watching that episode. You know, I think that Tasha was such a complex. Just I loved that character. You know, I mean, she was just a little fireball. You know, and you know, I could easily see her commanding a ship. You know, any of those. Well, not any of them, but but I mean, a lot of those characters would have, you know, certainly had their own ship, and with you know, Captain Picard as your mentor, I think you're in good hands, you know. So that would have probably, yeah, she would have been Janeway. She would have, you know, not have Janeway. She would have commandeered a ship. And love, let's hope, you know, everyone deserves to find love. How about that? With Data. Yes!
Hello. Oh, sorry. I have two very simple questions. One is, I keep seeing you not as Tasha Yar, but on an episode of X-Files here, or a motion picture there. So what is your favorite non-Star Trek role? And also, I believe you filmed your last 2 episodes as Tasha out of order,
yes.
Which is, and hence that little bit in the cargo bay with you waving wildly in Symbiosis. I can't think that was just spur of the moment. It must have been planned. So whose idea was that you would do this little you know, farewell to the fans?
Yes.
I believe it was.
Yes, it was a farewell to the fans. That was my very last shot that I would ever do, I thought, in Star Trek. So I thought I'll just, you know, make a flub, you know, and they'll say cut, and they'll have to reshoot it, you know. But they didn't yell cut, and they didn't reshoot it. And I wasn't going to say...
Do you think they didn't notice at all, or they just didn't care?
I don't think he noticed what I was doing. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, because I don't think the director in his right mind would have, you know, I don't know what he was looking at when the camera, you know, turned around. I mean, you know, you see Gates and Patrick walk out, and then they had to do my side. And, you know, before you knew it, they were forced to use it in this episode because they needed it for the storyline. But although I think the editors must have been on my side, you know, and said, we can't cut, we have to use it, you know. And I was so pleased when that made it in. I couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped. So that's how that happened. In terms of a favorite role, you know, I did another series called Key West, which was on Fox, and you know, that was a great show that I loved. I loved the writing. I loved the kind of quirky sort of language of the show and the setting and everything. And you know, I was playing the mayor of Key West, so it was really very interesting. She was a recovering alcoholic, and she kept slipping, and you know, and it was really a fun piece. but each one is sort of has its beauty. You're creating. You're like taking a piece of marble and starting to sculpt this nothingness into something. So it's always great fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi,
Yes.
Denise.
Oh.
I can stand in line like everybody
Okay,
else.
it's true.
My question is this. In the new Battlestar Galactica, Katie Sackhoff plays a character that I like to refer to as Lieutenant Yarbuck.
I like it.
I see a very strong resemblance between the new Starbuck and Tasha Yar. Do you think that perhaps Ron Moore, having worked on Star Trek for so long, reinvented Starbuck based perhaps on your portrayal as Tasha Yar?
Oh, yes.
Well, of course.
Eric, need you ask? Oh, God, I mean, that's certainly a question for Ron. But,
Well, I guess my question is, and the question is presumed that you've watched the new Galactica. No.
I'm sorry. There's, I have well, I'm not going to sit here and list off my excuses, but I mean, I have an 8-year-old, and it's, I don't watch a lot. There's so much, and I don't even have TiVo. I'm still living in the, dark ages. But
well, if you have a chance to check it out, I think a lot of Star Trek fans in the room that watch Galactica, as I do, see a lot of Tasha in the new Starbuck.
Okay, I'm going to. Oh yeah? It's not a show for kids? Okay. Well, it's funny, my son he's only seen one episode of Star Trek. Yeah, because
We can send you the DVDs.
Would you? It's funny because they you'd think Paramount would send me the DVDs, but no. Gee, why would I think that? But no, although I did give him one of my action figures, so he does have Mommy on his bookshelf, which is weird enough, need I say more, okay? The day I come in and that thing is, playing with a stormtrooper, I'm gonna really have to have some talk with him. Although I didn't, that reminds me, I met Quentin Tarantino once at a comic book convention in Pasadena, in California. And he had just bought my Tasha Yar action figure, and he wanted me to sign it, which of course I did. And he said, great, now I'm going to put this next to my John Travolta Saturday Night Fever doll on my mantle and dance you guys together. And I thought I always wanted to dance with John Travolta at Saturday Night Fever. So, on Quentin's mantelpiece.
Well, after having seen both of your Trekkies documentaries, that would have to have been one of the more tamer conversations you've had with some fans, I would think.
Oh, I don't know. Talking with Quentin is not tame. But anyway, my son, I didn't really it's hard to say, okay, honey, let's sit down and watch Mommy. So he's slowly kind of taking his own interest, and I did an improv show in Denver with Dean Haglund. And I kind of filled in for his regular partner, and I hadn't done improv in years and years since acting school. So he wanted to do kind of a Q and Yar. So I went, okay, and so I had to get out some old Star Trek.